let's step back and let's ask ourselves, what kind of a trip is a trip to Israel? And the best way to look at it is to take a look at some texts. So I'm going to pass around a collection of texts. It's one sheet, and it has a front and it has a back. And on this sheet, we list 4 different ways of thinking about a trip to Israel. And I'm going to go through this quickly, but I'm going to ask you to hold on to this piece of paper, because this piece of paper should be a companion for you on our trip. Okay? And by the way, speaking of paper, it's a nice recommendation to keep a journal for a trip like this. Bring a pen. A pen is an old-fashioned implement that people over the age of 10 know how to use, actually, and paper. Or you can bring, you can keep it on your iPhone or your iPad, whatever. By the way, iPads do work in Israel. They can be charged if you have an adapter on the cord, and they can be plugged into the sockets. Okay, so one way to look at this trip is as a vacation. And what do you do on a vacation? You see the sights. All right, you see the sights. So this is an excerpt from a very famous poem by Yehuda Amichai. Yehuda Amichai, an Israeli poet, born in Germany, but made Aliyah in the 30s, wrote and wrote and wrote and wrote, and well into his 80s, I believe, passed away, now I'm going out on a limb, maybe 10 years ago. Hi, Beth, please welcome, welcome. Ah, wonderful to see you. Let me just, for Beth's sake, bring us up to date. We introduced ourselves. We have a nice list of who's here, and we have a fair number of first-timers and a fair number of people who've been there but haven't been there for, I don't know, 18 years or so. You know, because they came when they were 18. Maybe 18 years, we'll see. And then we talked about the 3 goals of the trip: Israel today, the history of modern Israel, Jewish settlement throughout time. And now we're looking at these 4 models. So look at this poem by Yehuda Amichai. Most of the poem is written like a poem. This piece of the poem is written as if it's a little story. Once, he writes, I was sitting on the steps near the gate at David's citadel. We will go there. We will be at this place. It's a medieval castle, and it's right as you enter the old city of Jerusalem. And I put down my 2 heavy baskets beside me. Israelis, long before in America we were asked to bring our own baskets to the supermarket, they used to have plastic grocery baskets. And you'd go around and you'd buy in the market different kinds of greenery or fruits and vegetables, and you'd pile up your baskets. Okay? A group of tourists stood there around their guide, and I became their point of reference. You see that man over there with the baskets? A little to the right of his head, there's an arch from the Roman period, a little to the right of his head. But another one says, but he's moving, he's moving. I said to myself, redemption will come only when they're told, do you see that arch over there from the Roman period? It doesn't matter. But near it, a little to the left, and then down a bit, there's a man who has just bought fruit and vegetables for his family. So, you know, I love this little piece of a poem. First of all, because it poses it as if they're diametrically opposed. You know, you're either the tourist who doesn't care about the people and just wants to see the Roman arch, or you're connecting with that person and you don't care about the arch. You heard what I said in terms of the 3 goals. Obviously, we care about the arch, but we care about the people. And that's one of the beautiful things about a trip to Israel. You do get to experience both. By the way, let me just pause and say that seeing the people, interacting with the people, is something that occupies and maybe even preoccupies us as we think about a trip to Israel. And I know in each one of our previous trips, this has been something that Beth has been very focused on. How do we help us, who are visitors, have a moment or two when we're really connecting with Israelis and not fellow tourists? It's very hard to make it happen. We work very hard to try to make it happen. It usually does happen. And you don't always know in advance when that moment or moments is going to be. But when it happens, it's very powerful. As you know, I mean, people were to visit from another place and come here, you know, we're a wary sort of people. It's not easy to penetrate that wall, but once you do, you're grateful for it. So obviously we care about the arch. We care about the man who's just bought groceries for his family. Okay, that's one way to look at a trip to Israel, as a tourist. Here's another model, and this is a very famous psalm from the book of Psalms. It's one of the Shirei HaMa'alot. You know, there are a couple of psalms, about a half dozen psalms in the Hebrew Bible, which begin Shir HaMa'alot, the song of ascents, or the song of pilgrimage. So would somebody like to read this? It's a quote from the psalm. It's translated into English. Would somebody like to read it? Don't all volunteer at once. Bruce,
I'll read it.
He beat you to it. Okay.
A song of ascents of David. I rejoiced when they said to me, we are going to the house of the Lord. Our feet stood inside your gates, O Jerusalem. Jerusalem built up, a city knit together, to which tribes would make pilgrimage to praise the name of the Lord. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May those who love you be at peace. May there be peace within your ramparts, serenity within your citadels. For the sake of my kin and my companions, I pray for your peace and well-being. For the sake of the house of the Lord our God, I seek your good.
It's a beautiful psalm, and it picks up on the notion that there is such a thing as a pilgrimage to Israel and a pilgrimage to Jerusalem. What is a pilgrimage, and how does it differ from a vacation? What's a pilgrimage? Well, what's a pilgrim?
Returning to the source.
Okay, but that you're actually, that may be true, but it may not necessarily be true. But you are going someplace.
It's a spiritual journey.
It's a spiritual journey.
Point to a place of significance.
Right. It's a spiritual journey to a place of significance, and therefore, what? What else can you tell me about a pilgrimage as opposed to a vacation? It's a spiritual journey, I agree, to a place that's going to be significant. What else can you say about a pilgrimage? Here's something. You're not the only one who's doing it, right? You are a pilgrim. You're one of a group of people who are doing the same thing, making this same journey. You could have a solitary pilgrimage to Worcester, I don't know, and nobody else knows that that happens to be your holy place. But usually when people say, I'm going on a pilgrimage, they're not the only one, right? I mean, there is a Muslim pilgrimage to where?
Mecca.
They go to Mecca. You know what? It's a very crowded city when they do it, okay? Many, many people go. Similarly, there used to be a practice to go up to Jerusalem 3 times a year on the so-called pilgrimage festivals. They're called Shalosh Regalim. The 3, and by the way, a pilgrimage festival in Hebrew is called a regel, because that means a foot. You literally walk up. And what would they do when they'd walk up? They'd sing. This is one of the songs that presumably they sang as they were making a pilgrimage to Jerusalem. So, in other words, the notion is, by the way, these are names, if it's helpful, yes. I'm sorry, I just realized it, so that's why I handed it off. In other words, we're not just going anywhere, we're going to a holy place. And it's a place that we actually may feel is transforming us. It's a spiritual journey. Okay? Now, it may also be a return, but we're going to get to that. That could be something else, as we'll see. But let's turn to the next page, and I apologize for the one typo there. Here's another possible way to understand a trip to Israel. Do you recall the story of the spies or the scouts in the Bible? You know, the children of Israel are wandering around, and then Moses sends some spies, you know, just to check it out. And what happens when they come back, by the way? Do you remember what happens?
Yeah, they chicken out.
They chicken out, right. So let's read this story about the sending out of the spies. Who'd like to read it? It's Roman numeral 3. Please, Linda.
The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Send men to scout the land of Canaan, which I am giving to the Israelite people. Send one man from each of their ancestral tribes, each one a chieftain among them. When Moses sent them to scout the land of Canaan, he said to them, Go up there into the Negev, and on into the hill country, and see what kind of country it is. Are the people who dwell in it strong or weak, few or many? Is the country in which they dwell good or bad? Are the towns they live in open or fortified? Is the soil rich or poor? Is it wooded or not? And take pains to bring back some of the fruit of the land.
Great, and what he might have said is, and take lots of photographs. Okay, post them on a website so we can all see them as you're on this trip. You know, in many ways, well, let me ask you this. How does this kind of an image of a trip to Israel differ from, I don't know, the pilgrimage and or the vacation? How does it differ? What is the responsibility or the expectation of the scout that's different from either the pilgrim or the tourist?
You have a responsibility to somebody else to bring back the information.
Yeah, okay, and so therefore, what is that scout going to do the whole time he or she is in the land?
Collect data.
Collect data, photograph, check this, measure that, okay, and you know, we've all traveled with people like that, haven't we? I mean, whether it's a member of our family or somebody else, you know, it's someone who wants all the facts and figures, and you know, okay, that's a piece of it, that's a piece of it. But whatever happens to those scouts? Do we remember, you said, Rick, they chicken out. Why did they chicken out? What happened? What happened? They took, they looked, they saw, but they were a little hypercritical, right? They came back
They
a little,
overreacted to
they
what they saw.
overreacted. So even though they were supposedly good scouts, measuring and doing this and doing that, it kind of had a negative effect on them emotionally. They ended up being chicken. And so there's a danger in a scouting expedition, and I like to tell people when they're going to Israel, don't prejudge the place and don't be too judgmental when you're there. You know what I mean? Take it all in, but don't be too critical, because you may feel differently tomorrow or the next day. Okay? So again, that's a different model, really. It's not being on a vacation. They've got jobs to do. They have a job to do. Take it, facts and figures. And finally, we get to number 4, which is yet another model for a trip to Israel. And that's the model of a trip to Israel as a return. And the poem here is from Yehuda Halevi. Yehuda Halevi was a brilliant and a very gifted poet in Spain. He lived in Spain, and he wrote in Hebrew. I think he also might have written in Arabic. I'm not certain about that. But he wrote his poems in the Arabic style, and this is one of his famous poems. So would someone like to read it? It begins, and its title is "My Heart is in the East, and I am in the West."
I can read it.
Please.
My heart is in the east, and I am in the west.
What does he mean by East, by the way, you think? What's the East?
Yerushalayim.
Yerushalayim, and, you know, and West, in his case, is Spain. That's far enough west. That's as far west as you can be, right? What else is there? There's no other place further west than Spain, as we know, right? Go on.
As far in the west as west can be, how can I enjoy my food? What flavor can it have for me? How can I fulfill my vows or do the things I've sworn to do while Zion is in Edom's hands and I am trapped in Arab lands?
Right. What does Edom represent, by the way? Edom is a figure in the Bible, right? Edom, the Edomites. They're associated with Esau in the Bible, but in medieval Hebrew, Edom is understood as a symbol for what empire or what civilization? The answer is the Christian world. So Edom is a representative of the Christian world, and at the same time, he's trapped in Arab lands. He's trapped in Muslim Spain. Okay? But who's running the show in Palestine these days? It's the Crusader kingdom. Okay? Go on.
Easily I could leave behind this Spain and all their luxuries, as easy to leave as dear the sight of the temple's rubble would be.
Boy, this is a man in love with the land, and he knows it like the back of his hand, and you just can't wait to go back. Of course, he does travel back, and you know there are legends about Yehuda Halevi going back. Did he go back and then he was killed as he arrived? Is that how he met his end? Did he go and then go to Cairo and then go back to the land? Unclear. But one thing is clear, he was the great lover of returning to the land. Now, you could say this is like a pilgrimage, but it's not quite a pilgrimage. It's just he wants to be back there because that's where he belongs. Okay. I wanted to put these before you. This is just a preliminary review of these 4 models. because I think as we move through our trip together, we will have the opportunity to ask ourselves, oh, gee, what was this day like for us? Was it like this kind of a day, or was it like that kind of a day, or that, or that? Okay? So this is just a little taste of what may lie in store for you. Okay. Now, I think now that we've looked at the forest, it's time for a few trees. And it's the opportunity to ask a few questions about the trip itself and to address some concerns that you might have. So maybe this is a good time to open it up for questions. Or turn it over to Beth.
Can we go through this list?
Absolutely, let's,
Let's see, one more second to figure out anything else.
okay. Did everyone get a copy of the Temple Aliyah trip to Israel packet? Great.
Okay. So I just want to apologize first. I've had a really tough week, and I was away in Aruba for 2 weeks, which was wonderful. But my dad had a fall in Aruba last Thursday, New Year's Day, and so we brought him back Saturday night, and my life has been absolutely crazy, but I just rushed back from the hospital because I thought it was so important to be with all of you, and I feel terrible that I'm not even better prepared, but I can tell you that
Well, let me just say,
we've got this down.
not only is Beth's father in the hospital, but Beth's mother is in the hospital.
Yes,
Because
so-
in coming in to visit her father,
Well, not
she-
quite. No, what happened was, we were going for an appointment, because my father broke his orbital socket and his nose. So when we were going in to see the ENT, my mother had gotten so excited about everything, she said, I think I need to see my doctor on the way in. And she called him, so she went, we're at Boston Medical Center, she went to one building, we went to another, they admitted her. They did not admit my father. We came home that night, he kept getting sicker and sicker, and now he's in intensive care, actually. But my mother had a pacemaker put in, so, anyway, so I am really sorry, because I'm usually much more prepared, but I wanna, tell you that this is gonna be an incredible trip, and there's nothing like going to Israel, and there's nothing like going to Israel in community. And, all the different ways of going, whether it be as a pilgrim, whether it be as a tourist, whether it be as a first timer, it is a blast to be with people who are first timers, and it's incredible to be with people who have not been there for many, many years. And all of that excitement, and then it's really incredible to be with kids, because they ask questions that none of you will wanna ask, but you all,
Or even think of.
you may not think of it, but you may think this is really stupid, and it's not stupid at all that everyone's thinking about it, and there's something about the awe of looking at it. Also, the fact that we do a coming of age ceremony, it gives us this great excuse to be in the old city, praying together with our rabbi and our cantor, and you will not believe what that day is like. It's very, very hard to say. There are lots and lots of highs to this trip, and every time you say, this, nothing can get better than this. I'll tell you something funny. We actually got offered today to change one of our hotels, our hotel in Tel Aviv, to the fancy Hilton. And the rabbi and I had a long discussion about it, and we're thinking we probably don't want to do that, because the Hilton is beautiful, it has unbelievable services, and it may have better food maybe than where we're going, maybe not.
Not as good a location.
But you know what, it's not an Eved Tzedek, and we were talking about how much we love the neighborhoods you're gonna be in when you first get to Israel, and how at night you can just go walk around.
Yes. The Hilton's too far up.
And the Hilton's like on the beach, it's gorgeous,
Yeah,
and it's near the port, which is lovely, but it's not
No,
Neve Tzedek,
Yeah.
and it's not walking distance to Jaffa,
Exactly.
walking distance to the train station.
Yeah.
So as much as that's like, wow, we both talked about it and said, let's stay where we are, which is
I
not a
agree.
bad place either, it's a
No, I
really good
agree.
place. So, I think that was a decision, but we were right on the same. So I just want you to know that everything about this trip is done that way. Everything is like thought through, like what is the best for this particular group and who we are. And there are lots of changes as you go, you gotta be flexible, because we only make it better and better. While we're there, something will happen, we'll say, hey, let's do this, or you know what, so-and-so called and said they'd love to see our group here. So you gotta be ready for adventure, ready for changes, and ready for an experience of your lifetime. So that's my overview. The other thing is, we take care of everybody. So if there's a free night, and I will get back to you with the exact free nights, I was gonna work on that today and I don't have that, I'll get that for you. We have a tentative, but I don't wanna ever promise, because you never know, we could get some very special things to happen. But on free nights, we won't leave anyone alone. So if you wanna be alone, or you have somewhere you wanna go, but if you don't, either the rabbi, the cantor, or myself will go with you or do something, or invite you to something. So we don't want anyone alone. The other thing that starts to happen is there's a group mentality, that everybody takes care of everybody else. It's almost like the Moses mentality of Moses was the shepherd, but he shepherded from behind. That he was always there with the group, and Gladys can tell you that we're really good at that as a synagogue and as a group. So those are all the good things.
I just have, it just reminds me, I had, one of the nicest times that Glennis and I had at this trip was when we went to Beit Guvrin, where there was an archaeological dig. So it was weird, because it's a beautiful site, but everyone goes underground. And Glennis said, oh, this is not for me. I mean, it's like going down one of these ladders. So Glennis and I are sitting there, and you'd think we were totally alone, because no one else is around. And then all of a sudden somebody pops up from this hole or from that place. It was it just had to be there. But remember that? That was really quite something.
But we all take care of each other. And we're going to spend some time in Haifa, our sister city too. We're just working on that. One of the principals of Aroni Hay, which is one of the most popular high schools, and a high school related to Gann Academy and to other things, he was just in Boston, and he can't wait to have us come and visit and do some things there. We've got a Parent in the Center, a new project that Boston Federation has put a lot of money into, which is a mix for Arab and Jewish and new Olim, taking care of children and everything else. So we're
Olim
hopefully
are
gonna,
immigrants to Israel.
so we're hopefully gonna maybe spend some time there. We've got some fun things, and Ezra, our guide, who some of you met, no one could be sweeter or more of a match. Now, our number is not what we had expected, but a lot of people are saying, well, that's even better, because it's kind of cool to go with a group of like 25. It's more intimate, there's more room on the bus, it's easier to maneuver if we want to change or do something, or we get a special opportunity. So I think we're gonna end up with 25 or 26 is gonna be our total number in the end. I'm trying to, and then let's just go through this for a minute if you don't mind. So the group flight, and some of you or many of you are on the group flight, we leave on Wednesday afternoon from Logan, and we then, it's actually changed to 5:30, so everyone changed that, that's a 5:30 flight now.
Yes. That's-
And then everybody who's coming from maybe some other places will meet at 9:15 in Philly, and it's a beautiful flight, it's a direct flight from Philly right to Israel. We will get there at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Our guide will be there to meet us. We will have a transfer right to the hotel. And on our way, we make stops. And that's our first night in Tel Aviv at the Dan Panorama. We'll have a welcome dinner. What's really nice is you don't have to stay up too long, because Shabbat is not too far ahead. Friday afternoon starts Shabbat. So you gotta just get through Friday morning with your jet lag. And there's great things to do on Fridays. There's a special art fair that we're gonna make sure you all get to, along with our regular itinerary. And then you kind of start to unwind, and we'll have our own Shabbat.
Let me just interrupt to mention that increasingly.
What?
I just told them Valentine's Day is Shabbat in Tel Aviv.
That's lovely. Oh, you've just given me an idea. Let me just mention that
I don't know what they do.
Friday in Israel is becoming increasingly a weekend day. In other words, Friday and Shabbat constitute more and more weekends. So Friday morning, it's much more popular than it ever used to be, literally not to work on Friday. And so brunch is a very popular repast and a very popular activity late morning on Friday. And then even if you do work on Friday, pretty much people shut down around noon to get ready for Shabbat. And so, as Beth was saying, there's some fun things to do that you can't do any other day of the week other than on Friday, because there are these wonderful shopping areas right near where the hotel is on Friday afternoon, and we'll be going there.
And then it's really,
Can we ask questions as we go along? or you
sure.
want to- Since you're on arrival, those of us who will already be there.
We're gonna meet
will
you. We're gonna
for
tell you
dinner, or-
exactly, we're gonna have that all set. We are
Okay.
really good at that stuff. We will
Okay,
have you
no,
meet
I'm
us.
just curious
Yeah,
what it
no,
was,
no,
how
no.
we should plan our day.
I'm not sure how it works yet, and
Yeah.
it will be one of two things. Either we will meet you at the hotel,
Yeah.
or you'll come and meet us, and we'll go the other way. But it will all be planned out, because there is enough of you
Yeah, that's fine.
that are gonna already be in Tel Aviv. So Friday night, we'll have a delightful dinner all together, which is kind of nice, and we have the cantor there to do singing, which is a whole new dimension we
That's
haven't
right,
had
that's
before.
right. And
And a
we'll-
lot of times we invite, I'm just trying to figure out if we're jet lagged at that point, but we
Yeah.
invite temple congregants, kids who happen to be in Tel Aviv, or some
Oh,
other
that's
people to join
beautiful.
us for dinner,
That's beautiful.
on that first night.
The only thing is, you will be tired.
You will be tired.
It's
That's
a, you
part
know,
of-
I mean, it's a nice, it's a nice, but often people are draggy, so.
But we have another day in there, so I
That's
think
true,
we'll
we
be
have
okay.
one
So-
more day than we usually have.
So last year, we got there, and actually it was reversed, we got to Jerusalem, and we had the most gorgeous dinner you've ever seen in your life. And everyone looked at it and went, that's nice. Everyone was so tired, and it was the most magnificent dinner. But this time you're getting in on Thursday,
Right,
and you
so
have
it's an extra
Friday.
day, and
And
now
then
I'm-
Saturday morning, you can decide if you wanna go to Shoal, if you wanna rest, if you wanna stay in the hotel, you wanna go to the beach, and it's a nice day to do what you want or not do. We're gonna have activities planned, but it's if you want or if you don't want.
And there is a lovely conservative shul within an easy walk from the hotel, and with a lovely, friendly rabbi. Often there's a bar mitzvah there of a secular kid from the neighborhood, so you have, you know, you have you have the usuals in shul, and then you have this family of people that are taking pictures, and the rabbi saying, please do not take pictures on Shabbat. Yes, you know the scene, I mean, it's like, it's very familiar scene, I think, to all of us. And it's kind of a fun thing, and you sort of get exposed to that.
And then we usually get honors too, I mean, that's
Yeah,
the
they
other
give
thing.
you Aliyah, do you wanna read the Haftorah today? You know, that kind of thing. So it's actually very, very nice. We, you know, if you're interested, we can go there. We'll have lunch plans,
So we'll-
obviously, so
right,
we
we have
don't have
lunch
to go
plans.
spend money on Shabbat, but certainly you're free to walk around. Lovely beach, you can walk to Jaffa, and we will give you, you know, sample walking tours.
Question for our two Shabbat dinners, our Friday
Uh-huh.
night dinners, and for services in Jerusalem
In Tel
and or
Aviv.
Tel Aviv, yeah, is there a dress code?
Yeah, so people tend to dress nicer on Shabbat.
Mhm.
Israel is one of the most relaxed places you'll ever be.
Mhm.
For shul, in our groups typically, people wear a skirt. You don't have to,
You
we're not telling
definitely
you.
should, if you're a woman, that is,
Yeah.
you should definitely bring a skirt, because we'll be going into
To
some
the
holy
old city, but you
places
don't need, you
that
just
you'll
dress
need one.
nicer, and there's something about the atmosphere. You get to Israel, and there's this beautiful, Shabbat is one of the most beautiful times of the week. So I would suggest bringing something nice, you can wear the same thing for both Shabbats.
Yeah.
And when we go to shul, most of us dress. But
You don't have to worry.
That's
But let me
right.
just
You
mention
don't
one
have
other
to
thing.
negative fashion
I'm
statement.
dressed much too
If anybody
formally
says a word,
for,
when we get back
for
on
the
stage,
most
you'll
formal
never tie.
occasion. I will not bring a
Yeah.
tie to
Yeah, you'll
Israel,
never wear a
okay?
Okay.
You don't wear a tie unless, you know, you're having lunch with the prime minister. Maybe then you would wear a tie, and he probably wouldn't wear one. But, you know, seriously, you don't have to be formally dressed. It's good for, men if you wish to bring a kippah.
And
And
women.
obviously, if we're going to a conservative shul, bring, and you're a woman, bring your talit, bring your kippot, and you'll be more than comfortable wearing them there. And we'll announce where and when you can, shouldn't, you know, wear, religious paraphernalia in different places.
Rabbi, I think this is a good time to talk about, what we'll be
Davening.
doing in terms of davening,
Sure.
and that it's such a,
You know, this is actually very lovely. What we did, both on this most recent trip and then on the one just before that, is that we offered, you know, davening every morning if people wanted to. You know, some people want to get up and they'll join us, other people won't. And you know something, it's kind of a neat thing to daven in the morning here, to daven in the morning there. And we'll probably do that again this time. So we'll have davening every morning if you're interested. And when we get to both Tel Aviv on Friday night and Shabbos and in Jerusalem on Friday night and Shabbos, we'll give you some options. Because probably in Tel Aviv, there's really only that one option, that one shul that's within an easy walk.
I think we
But-
decided in Tel Aviv we're gonna do our own, on Friday night.
No, you're right.
Friday
you're
night,
right.
we're doing
Friday
our
night,
own.
because that's true. That's already you know, a walk and a walk back, and it's
It's not very exciting.
jet lag and everything else. But Friday night in Jerusalem and Shabbos morning in Jerusalem, there are, you know, really dozens of possibilities, and we'll let you know what are the you know the different ones that you might want to consider. Okay.
And should we bring our own prayer book for daily davening?
So we're gonna talk about that.
Let's talk about that.
So we will make available, we'll ask you, I'll be sending you out an email in the next week or so, asking if you'd like a Sim Shalom,
Pocket edition
pocket
of
edition.
Siddur Sim Shalom, which is a nice, you know, both Hebrew, English tefillot, and it's light, it's a paperback, and, you know, it's a nice one to
And it's
have.
optional if you wanna take one or if you don't.
It's smaller than the one that we use here.
Yes,
Very
it's a
small.
pocket edition.
Real size.
Okay, so, any other questions about Shabbat? Okay, so, I think you'll find it very, very special. Passports, we need to talk about passports. You have to make sure that your passport is valid for at least 6 months after, your departure date.
They're pretty
Otherwise,
strict
they will
about that.
not let you on the plane, okay? If you have an Israeli passport, you need to either come and leave with the same passport, Israeli or American, however you want to do that.
And if not, we'll leave you there and.
The other recommendation is take a picture, I've been taking a picture on my iPhone. Take a picture of your passport, and even if you can make a photocopy, put it in a suitcase, put it somewhere else,
Right.
so you always have another copy of your passport with you in case something should happen. We have assistance going to the airport, we have assistance coming back. Those who are traveling on your own, we can help you with that. We can talk separately. Medical care in Israel, hospitals are amazing in
Yeah.
Israel. We hope we do not need them.
Go back to the passport for a second. I remember they asked me to send them a copy of my passport. Is it something we need to do? This, I think, to the, was it to the
They like to have
hotel?
it just
They
to
wanted the
see.
numbers
They're
and things
checking,
like
and
that.
they're checking to see it the 6 months. But I
Okay.
want you to take another in your
No, I
bag,
understand that part. I understand that
but they
part.
asked you for a copy, right?
Yeah, okay.
Last time we went to an IDF base, and so it was really, really important.
Yes.
But we decided this time, I think that we, it was a nice experience, but we have so many other things we're doing that we're, right? We're kind of,
Yeah, I mean.
Better go to the idea.
I don't know what the agenda is.
yeah, no, I
Okay,
just,
I
I
wanna
don't
hear
think
that.
we are, but if we
Yeah,
are,
definitely.
we'll let you know. I think we decided there are just so many things you can fit in and, right.
So does everybody just email a copy of their passport when they ask for it? Is that what people
They
do?
took, you can take a picture with your, iPhone.
I know how to do it. I'm just wondering if people did that.
You mean for,
I was
for,
never
for,
asked
for the
for that.
travel?
You
That I
remind me,
know of.
If they didn't get what you needed,
Yeah.
they contact you.
Okay.
Yeah, I sent a copy of mine,
Is that
but
way you put the
my
picture?
wife
Yeah.
and kids didn't have a valid passport until.
Did they
You
get
know,
them
I-
yet? Did it
yes.
come? That's what I meant to
I
ask.
think it would be nice if we had a record of everybody's passport.
You guys.
Yeah,
You
No, it's
really
that,
should.
it says.
I know it is,
Right.
but, so
Right.
if you could
Just in
send.
case, because
So thank you
we
for
get,
reminding me.
I'm telling you, there are some surprises that happen when we're in Israel, always surprises when we're in
Yeah.
Israel, good things. Additional things that we might need if they need passports fast or something else. If you have prescription medicine, please take it with you. And that's all here, you can read the part about medication. And traveler's insurance, we already know about. Okay, so our hotels we're staying in. As of right now, these are hotels we are staying in, the Dan Panorama in Tel Aviv, which is right there in the Neve Tzedek neighborhood. Jaffa is really close, train station
You
is
were there,
really
right?
close.
That's the Charlotte since my father's.
Really?
Well, that's
And,
good, that's
um,
Cholent on Shabbat,
Yeah,
that's
that's
a good
And the
thing.
beach is across the street, you're gonna love Tel Aviv. We will be there on Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night. And I believe, and I gotta get back to you, I believe Saturday night is your free night there.
I think we're leaving Sunday.
Yes, so
I
this
thought we were
must be
leaving Sunday, but I
Thursday,
thought this was
Friday,
wrong.
Saturday.
And it's Sunday, and then Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah, so I don't think that.
Two nights in front, one in the good shape.
About the health insurance?
It's one night, we did say.
One
What?
night.
One night,
Oh, about the
two in
health
front,
insurance?
Yeah, go ahead.
one night in
Is,
Dead Sea.
I mean, is it recommended to do that, or to do your own? There was like a thing on the,
You have health insurance, that was travel insurance.
That was a trick.
yeah, travel.
Travel insurance.
Yeah.
They always recommend travel insurance. It's really, when you travel, do you take travel insurance or not? They recommend travel insurance in case you need,
Okay,
but you need to get in touch with, just write back to them at,
okay.
Yes, there's a link on the, when you go to the website for it, where you register, for what they recommend.
The 15th is a Sunday.
right, I know, these dates are wrong. So I think what it is, and I was gonna, that's why I said to you I wasn't, I ran back in here. I didn't go home to get my stuff. I believe it's Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night, we're gonna be in Tel Aviv.
Right.
Sunday morning, we
Sunday
leave
morning
and
we
start
check
going
out.
north, and we'll go up to Haifa on, Sunday. We, Sunday night, get to, Kfar Bloom, which
Far Bloom is a
is,
kibbutz in the finger of the Galilee, way up north, but that's after we will have spent time in Haifa. We'll go up to Far Bloom to sleep. Thank you, Ivana White.
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
Kfar Bloom is beautiful.
way up here in the
So
north.
it's Beth,
And it's
Beth.
a beautiful, beautiful site.
3 nights in
Lovely,
Tel
lovely.
Aviv?
3 nights.
And how many nights
How many
in
nights
Kfar
in-
Bloom? 3 also?
Kfar Bloom is 2 nights.
2 nights,
So the 15th and the 16th.
yeah.
Yeah, these days, I'm gonna get this back to you right. And then we're going to, and there's a lot of things we're gonna do in the Upper Galilee. Then we leave the Upper Galilee and we
Bring our
come,
skis?
what?
Bring our skis?
No.
They just-
We're not, you'll be able to see them out, but
On,
we shouldn't have snow.
on the Hermon, there is a ski resort.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
Um,
I hope it's not on for
yeah,
the, don't want any snow up there.
right.
But even if it is, it just leaves, it leaves the next day. We will be down in the Dead Sea area and, for a night, and that's so that we can get up very, very early the next day and do Masada. We have a couple of options there with a Bedouin tent, and those that don't wanna stay in a Bedouin tent can stay in the hotel.
The hotel is very nice compared to the Bedouin tent. I mean, in that respect, but the Bedouin tent is very nice. We've been talking about
My
it.
guess is I'm going to the Bedouin tent, he's going to the hotel, that's what I think I'm hearing, but that's okay.
The camel concierge will take you.
Okay, and then we go and we spend the rest of our time in Yerushalayim, my favorite city in the whole entire world.
Yeah.
Love, love, love Yerushalayim.
And that's 3 nights, right?
And the-
I just have to do it, give me a minute to
Okay.
redo the nights, because
Because we leave on
that's
the
what I was doing when we
21st.
started. We're leaving on Saturday night.
21st.
And when you leave on Saturday night at 11:30, you get to keep your room all day. And then we'll have a farewell dinner, and we'll leave from the farewell dinner to go to the airport. Saturday night is when the group is
The
leaving.
actual flight is probably right after midnight or something.
It's
like that.
11:30.
It's 11:30, and then you get back at 5:30 in the morning, I believe, that group lands in Philadelphia.
That's
So,
actually
but
a
what's
great
really
time to
nice about
fly.
Israel is that you get to keep your room, you don't get that anywhere else.
Because people don't come in till late in the day, probably.
It's just the way it's always worked with Israel. So it's very, very nice.
Yeah.
Israel, you'll also have a free night. We're working on a couple of things with a bakery and some other things, so we have to figure out which night. But my guess is
Is that the one you have the video from,
Are
Rabbi?
you talking about?
In
when you said the
Jerusalem, in
bakery?
Jerusalem.
The challah bakery?
in Jerusalem. I
The
think,
bakery tour?
I think you're gonna have, so Friday night is Shabbat, Saturday night is our
Including evening.
concluding evening. I think Thursday night is gonna be a free night in Jerusalem. But let me get back to you on that. Okay.
And Thursday night is a nice time to, if it's possible, to walk around and look at the challah bakeries, because they bake all night, and it's just, it's a
Is that the
very.
one you have the video of?
Yeah,
Yeah.
And are we going to have the tour of one, or?
We're working on it,
Okay.
yeah. So, the thing about Israel is all the smells. It's very interesting. It's a combination of all the smells and the noises and the colors. It's very, very colorful, it's very beautiful, and it's just a lot of fun. Money, let's just talk about that. The best thing to do for money these days is your ATM card. And you put your ATM card in, know your code, call your bank before you go. Call your bank and tell them call your credit card companies and call the bank. And you just put your ATM machine and you get shekels. That's the best way to do things. They also take credit cards everywhere. But my traveling all over the world lately is people not everywhere wants your American Express card. So please take a MasterCard and Visa card also. You will be able to get to use your American Express in some places, but there will be some places where you will not. I use my ATM card, I'll tell you why. With my bank, you don't get, there's no penalty, there's no percentage that you have to pay. So I actually use quite a bit my ATM card for almost everything. I use it as a debit card.
Are we gonna be at, the wall on Shabbos on Friday night?
So we're working on that, that is an option.
For Friday night, that's one place where you might wanna go on Friday night before dinner.
Okay.
It wouldn't necessarily be my highest recommendation, but people, if there's a group that wants to go, it's an easy walk.
I think your son took everyone.
I think that's true, actually.
Your son
You can-
took everyone there.
You can take we can get a cab or whatever to there and then walk back, whatever. But then there's some other interesting places to go as well. On Shabbos morning, or rather after services on Shabbat, I think one of the things we usually do is take a walking tour, and that might include going back to the Kotel. But we probably can go to the Kotel even before then on a precinct. We will be at the Kotel
Well, we're
beforehand.
doing
We'll
our
do the
coming of age ceremony on
which is
Thursday morning, when we're going to
Now, Thursday morning also happens to be Rosh Chodesh. Let me just mention, I believe it's Thursday morning, which is, the 2 days of Rosh Chodesh. I think it's the Thursday morning when the women of the wall will be gathering at the wall at 7 a.m. That's a very, very interesting experience.
We don't wanna get arrested.
Yeah, well, not only arrested, but you don't wanna go and get into a riot place, whatever. But we'll know more as the time approaches, whether it's considered to be a safe and be of interest. But if so, if people want to go there, then I would.
Alana is going to take them.
Then Alana would be happy, because she's gonna be accompanying us on the trip, and I went a number of times while I was there. It was it was a powerful experience, not entirely pleasant by any means, and I have loads and loads of video and photographs to back that up. But it tells you something about Israel, and that's an important piece. piece of this.
And Thursday morning, we will be spending in the Old City. We'll be doing a lot of things in the Old City on Thursday morning. It's jam-packed. I mean, it's a lot to do in a,
You will sleep before, you will sleep after the trip.
and you'll sleep good at night when you're there
Yes.
because you'll be very tired. This tells you how to call, 011-972, gives you the phone numbers the hotels will be in. And Israel is 7 hours ahead. And as he said, the work week is Sunday through Thursday, and Sunday is a bustling day. You will see the traffic as we get on the road on Sunday morning to go north. Traffic, traffic, traffic. We are not gonna be there for a Jewish holiday this time. Last time we were there for Purim.
Or,
The weather, let's talk about the weather. February is a very interesting time. But I have to tell you, we have lucked out. Every time we've gone in February, we've lucked out. As a matter of fact, for most of the times when we've done our coming of age ceremony, we've gotten sunburned. The morning starts a little cool, and then all of a sudden we're all there and our faces get a little rosy and the sun comes out.
Is that at Masada or?
No, that's gonna be at the,
Basically, we've usually done it on both the
Robinson's
western wall, Robinson's Arch, which is where the so-called egalitarian kotel is, where men and women can be together, as opposed to the men's side of the kotel or the women's side of the kotel. We also go around to the southern side, because it's an archaeological park, and it's on the southern steps, which is where the pilgrims would come up to, actually, to the temple, where these Shirei Hamalot, these song of ascents were probably sung, and that has a beautiful southern exposure, and that's Beth, it's true. All you have to do is sit there for 5 minutes and you bake. So that could end up being very, very nice. But we'll
So we
see.
also get rain sometimes, so I suggest you bring a raincoat. The weather changes, so you want a
Layers,
fleece.
layers.
You want a fleece. You want some sort of fleece, maybe with a hood. You want something for rain gear, and as the day goes on, you take layers off.
And so we do need sunscreen.
A little bit, not a lot. I mean, I don't think you'll be
Okay.
burnt, but there were a
Yeah.
couple of days where it actually reached 70 degrees, 75 degrees.
And like if we choose to sleep in the Bedouin tent, do we need any kind of extra
I'm gonna
gear?
get you that information. I don't think it's quite that kind of Bedouin tent. It's actually a luxury Bedouin tent that we're sleeping in.
The Bedouins would be very happy to sleep in a tent like
And
that.
like when we're finding Masada, for example, what will the temperature likely be?
So you get very hot as you get up to the top of Masada, not hot, I'm talking like, it's very pleasant, it's 70 degrees. I mean, for me, July and August is so
Brutal.
hot, I
Yeah,
can't
it'd be
stand it.
brutal.
I happen to like February.
For
It'll
Masada.
be, you'll go with a fleece, you'll
Yeah,
have it
it'll
around
be
your,
cool.
around your
Maybe up to
waist.
the 70s, up at the top.
Okay.
But bring a lot of t-shirts, then bring some long sleeve cotton shirts, and then bring a fleece, and you'll be fine. And you know, bring a knapsack or bring a bag with you. Bus, we can always leave everything safely on the bus. There's very few days where we won't be coming back to the bus that you'll have to carry it very far.
Let me mention one other thing. The bus drivers in Israel take a very, very proprietary and possessive attitude toward their buses. Often they will have little brushes to clean up all of the mess. So please try to treat the buses as if it were your living room. And try, the bus driver may have restrictions on when and where you can eat in the bus. They're very, very fussy about that. But we'll all be grateful because the bus will be clean. It really will be. And that's something that we can help
That
maintain.
brings up a point, though. We also want to do some snacks on the bus. So if everyone brings a package themselves to share with the group, we're going to be probably 25 or 26 people. So if you went to, and make sure it's kosher, if you went to Costco before you go and throw it in your bag, it's great to have. And then we keep a box in the back of the bus so that there's always snacks, especially some of our long rides when we're going to the Galilee, we're coming back down. And it's just nice to have that kind of group food basket. Now, if you forget, do not worry, because we are going to be right next to one of the markets that has some great candy and things right there in Tel Aviv.
Yeah.
So you don't need to worry, but a lot of people like that.
And let me just mention, we will have a bus driver, we will have an Israeli tour guide, and then there'll be those of us who will be accompanying the trip here as well. It's nice to be thinking about the fact that there are tips that.
I would say
that are
that's in here,
in
that's in here.
itself. I just want you to think about it in terms of the actual people. We'll be.
And the bus driver is not only into his bus, but he's into making it a great
Yes,
trip.
yes.
And he's into getting down streets that you go, he'll never get down, to show you that he's really a good bus driver. But he cares very much about the safety of the group and caring for our things on the bus, which is another piece. And so when we are talking about tips, which we'll talk about later, it's our guide and it's our bus driver that needs to be tipped. And each individual does it, and then we give them a group tip. So the weather, I think we're good on that. Shoes, comfortable shoes.
Yeah.
They laugh at me in Israel because I always come with some sort of open-toe shoes, and my friends in Haifa go, sandals, no, you're crazy, crazy, you know, in March, in February. But bring comfortable shoes. Bring comfortable shoes to wear around the hotel, and then bring comfortable shoes for every day when we're out and about. And it can be rainy. We could be, you know, we could end up with a rainy day or two. So make sure you've got that.
At the Dead Sea,
Warm.
okay, and can you go in your swimsuit, or does it ruin your,
No, you can go in the swimsuit. You can go in your
swimsuit is
swimsuit.
appropriate?
It may ruin the color.
I mean, don't
Yeah.
bring one of your best
Yeah,
swimsuits.
okay, yeah.
But
that's
you can
all.
rinse it, I mean, they have showers right on the beach.
And nobody
you can rinse
complained
it.
about that last time.
No, it
That
didn't
was an
happen.
issue.
You're not gonna ruin
That
it.
was an issue.
If you wash
Um,
it out right away.
Just wash it out.
Yeah.
And can you go in barefoot? It's not a problem, right? Walking around the beach there, or is
You
it
should
better?
have some water shoes.
Some kind of water shoes is
It'll
good.
be
Okay.
You could go in barefoot, but we
Yeah.
recommend that you bring some water shoes. And you're gonna need some money to buy
Mud.
this mud.
Right.
I actually think I've mudded enough times.
pay for
I'm
mud?
not gonna do it
Yeah.
this time. I was a good sport last time, but I'm not.
There's also a place where you can sit and watch all the other people.
Paying for mud.
That's not gonna do this.
You can
That's
still
also
float without
possible.
the mud.
But it feels good.
You should pack for 11 days. We really don't have time to do laundry. You know, if we need to, we can, and you can send it out. But really, try to pack for the 11 days. And you can wear things over and over again. Do not worry about it.
We're on the same bus.
We're all the same bus.
Same
But I, you
boat.
know, I bring a bunch of t-shirts, bring enough t-shirts probably,
window's
but in terms
open,
of
right?
jeans and in terms of other things, you know, you don't wanna overpack. They laugh at the Americans. They laugh at how we come. And I'm probably the biggest, abuser of that. But they do make the buses big enough for anything we do bring. Layers, what else to say? Rain-wearing boots as well as umbrellas are highly recommended. So that's that. Now, this water thing, I think we're gonna change. And I thought we had made that clear. We will make sure there's water on the bus. That's one of the things is Temple Aliyah. We will make sure that there's water on the bus for every day. This says they only do it the first day, but I need to, talk to them again. So we will guarantee you,
And that is important. You do need to drink water every day.
even though it's not so hot, you're in a different place, you're gonna have a little bit of jet lag, and drinking water is so, so very important.
Now, is it still true that someone provides a water bottle?
We're gonna try to make that
We'll
happen.
provide water bottles for you on the bus.
And I do recommend that you drink bottled water for at least the first few days.
It just makes
because
it better for everybody.
It's just, it can be hard, it can be an adjustment for your digestive system, and it can make your trip, it can be hard on your trip. Not that you don't have the same concerns you have in a place like India, don't get me wrong, but just there are different populations of flora and fauna there. So you're just better off, and everybody else on the trip will be better off if you just drink bottled water for the first few days, maybe even until the.
I drink it the whole time, and as much as I go to Israel.
What
I-
about brushing your teeth? That
Oh, yeah, you're
You're
fine.
fine.
No, that's
You're
not
fine. We're
a
staying in lovely hotels.
It's
That's
not
what
as
I'm
if there's a,
thinking.
there's no.
Bedouin tent, maybe we should bring a bottle in the
We're
Bedouin
not going
tent.
to Bedouin.
Bedouin tent, we'll bring a bottle. Also, I just want to talk about breakfast for a minute. I do not suggest you oversleep. You want to go to breakfast every day. It's a great
Yes.
way to start the
That's
day.
the
The
best.
breakfast in these hotels is amazing. Not only that, you really need it to get going for the day. And I suggest you take a piece of fruit with you or take something in your bag with you from breakfast, just to keep you
Piece of
going in
herring.
case. What?
Piece of herring.
Not a piece of herring. I mean, like a piece of fruit, a piece of bread, whatever. But breakfast is my favorite part of Israel, and then you're always rushing, so make sure you get up early enough to get down to breakfast. You will have wake-up calls every day. We make sure to have wake-up calls for everybody. So, that's the
Okay.
other. And wake up
Yay.
is early, guys. You're
Yeah.
gonna have to get used to it. It is early, but
What's
you can.
early?
You're in Israel, oh.
Well, we like to start around 7:30, 8 o'clock to be on the bus, like by
But you
quarter
need
to
like
eight,
an
8
hour and
o'clock.
15 minutes from the time you wake up, so it
Eat
could be
breakfast.
6:30. I mean, 6:30 is,
But breakfast is
6:15,
buffet.
6:30.
Breakfast is
Well,
buffet.
it doesn't matter, 'cause we'll be jet lagged.
Everywhere, but it's an
Whatever you adjust to
incredible
there.
buffet. And then you can, you know, kind of rest on the bus if we have long rides. You can snooze a little bit. You can, you know, whatever. So breakfast is very important. Breakfast is included every day, and it's a great meal. Now, what will happen about lunch is there's a few lunches included, but we usually stop. You know how we have strip malls here?
Yeah, exactly.
And so there it's like strip malls, and in the strip malls are these hummus places and these little
Falafel and
places, and
shawarma.
everyone will be on their own. You'll take your little shekels. Oh, sorry.
And,
I don't know where it is.
you know,
You'll take your little shekels and you'll eat. I mean, and
you'll
you'll.
have an hour and you'll
Yeah.
stop at a place, you'll get something to eat, and that's pretty easy to do. For doing that,
It's fast.
it's helpful to have a little bit of shekels, but you can, even in places like that, believe it or not, even a place like that probably has one of these portable credit card readers, and they can read your credit card and charge to it, so.
Israel's even ahead of us in that area.
Yeah, they
I mean,
are.
we were thinking about it today because we were in front of the hospital and we had to put quarters in. And in Israel, you don't put quarters in anymore. You take your credit card, you swipe it, you put in a number, and if you want to renew, you're in a restaurant, you just dial the number and it automatically takes it from your.
Cool.
Oh, what about in Europe now, a lot of places, they don't take the swipe cards anymore. You have the chip on the card.
Right, I don't,
That's not,
I don't understand
we're
the-
fine the way we are, but I'm just saying, Israel's a very advanced place. You're gonna be amazed by certain things in Israel. You're gonna be really, really amazed.
So now I have a question about electricity.
Yes.
So I brought 2 adapters with me that look identical, but they're not. You know, one is thicker, slightly thicker than the other. And
I think they
one
probably
of-
are. Can I see
someone
both
can
work?
tell me
Yeah.
which-
I think they both work.
They
No,
both
they don't go
work
in the
lazy.
same.
Isn't there a letter associated with the adapter? Is there a specific letter that we need?
Well, this one is the one.
They do not fit in
This
the-
works for sure.
the white one.
This one
That's-
works for sure,
that's
the
what
white
I
one.
want.
I don't know what the black one is.
Yeah,
Yeah, the black one,
yeah. The black one is,
might be from a different country.
yeah,
But
okay.
the white one works for sure.
Okay.
The white one will work.
Like
Just the white-
Also, some of the hotels,
Just one, some
you
difference.
can even
Oh.
plug in right, but you should have adapters.
and these are, and all you need for.
Wi-Fi is
devices.
everywhere in
This is
Israel.
probably-
It's
this probably is made to
unbelievable
measure.
Wi-Fi.
It's in the rooms.
It's in the-
It's in the
Depends
rooms,
on
you may have
the
to pay the
socket.
rooms, but if you go down, if you go
Usually
to
it's
the
free in the
lobby,
lobby,
Oh.
and if you go to
And
any
you have to
kind
pay.
of coffee shop,
For the saddle
it's
ones.
free.
Oh,
Is,
okay, we might have
my,
this one.
my son was saying
see, so
today,
this is
actually, that some of the
B.
buses have Wi-Fi now
oh, I didn't know
in
this
that.
Israel.
In
Some of the buses at
past,
Birthright.
even up until like 3 years ago, I would bring all of this paraphernalia, and it's
This-
really
this
not
is
necessary
used
anymore. In
to-
other words,
this
like an
is-
Ethernet
it's
cable
right on it.
and
In
things like
Southern
that.
Europe,
And
East Africa.
frankly,
I mean, not every
it's
country.
not
every-
worth the wait.
Some
and-
countries
and
have
the few
multiple,
times that you need that
sockets.
stuff. I'd say
Yeah,
probably
just one other thing. Are
um,
there ever outlets
using,
that have 3
if you
different?
wanna bring a
This- no.
computer, you know,
Yeah.
you can
You
use
won't
it
find
down in
this
the
one
in
at
the
all.
lobby, usually of a hotel.
There is a third
Other
one,
times,
sometimes there's a
or,
brown, sometimes you have these,
you know, or in
something
in
below
some
it,
restaurants.
but not on the same
I
line.
also use FaceTime a lot when I'm in Israel.
I don't know.
I usually, rather than even dialing, I just use FaceTime if I'm calling the States or anyone's calling me. For
It is
calling,
amazing.
calling from home.
If you have an iPhone and there's somebody else with an iPhone and there's Wi-Fi, you're talking to them and it's unlimited time,
Yeah.
so.
So one of the more popular ways lately with the telephone is, and we're gonna get you more information, I will get that, I wanna do it this week, but I'll get it all to you. So Israel Phones, has a SIM card for your iPhone 4, 5, or 6. And what you'll do is
Not the
you'll
four,
then get,
not the
not-
4, I don't think.
I think
anything that's
the
unlocked,
4,
anything you
5,
can
or 6.
unlock. If you have an
I don't
unlocked
think
4.
the 4 except has a SIM card slot.
No,
I
it
used to have
does.
it on my
This
4.
is an iPhone 4,
Okay.
Yeah.
and this I used in Israel when I was on sabbatical. I removed the American SIM card, which you have to be sure not to turn on once you're in Israel, or you'll be charged a lot of money for roaming charges.
Always
You
put it
remove
on.
it, and then you
airport mode.
insert the Israeli SIM card, and
Yeah. I think
usually
it works in Android.
it's very, very cheap.
So, and we'll get you more information on that, and then you get an Israeli phone number, but all of your data is there, all your emails will come to you. That's one option. The other is to get a cell phone that's just an Israeli cell phone, which is the way we used to do it till very, very recently. I'll talk to anybody about what you might wanna do with that, or not do. I would love it though if we're not on the phone the whole time while we're there. I mean, I almost wish it was the old days when it didn't work so easily, because the trip is about being present and being
Yeah.
really there.
So in your experience, is having the Israel phone enough? I mean, do you find situations where it would be easier to have your US number?
No, I've never needed that.
Unless you've gotta be in business, if you're getting stuff for business, that's why people, like, we were just in, Aruba,
So
so
I
my
guess if
husband.
you know your numbers, particularly if you know your number before you leave, it's easy to leave that number with people here.
Right, right.
Right, exactly. Well, that's the issue of picking it up there. When you pick up a SIM card there, you won't know the number
Till you
of the
get it.
SIM
So
card.
what my husband did on our recent trip was he actually had an extra iPhone 4 from the kids or something. That was an unlocked one. So he took that and he actually put the chip in that one, got an Israeli number, and kept his phone. So that's
I've never needed it. In other words, and I haven't done it quite this way. When I was there on sabbatical, I put in a SIM card and I got a 6-month, contract. And so I just had an Israeli phone while I was there, which worked very well because it was very inexpensive. I don't know if it's quite as cheap if you're just doing it for 10 days.
Does it include data too?
Yeah, I got an unlimited.
You can,
practically
what you
unlimited
pay
data
for it.
plan.
Right, okay.
Yeah, with or without.
And then we will, collect everyone's numbers so that we have everyone's numbers. You will get a name tag, you'll get something in there with emergency numbers, you'll always be able to call the rabbi or myself or Ezra, anywhere that you are. We'll make sure that you can always get in touch with one of us. So, we're really good at that, that part we're really good at. So we can talk more about the cell phones, but I'll get you some more information on that. Tips and money, so as I said, I use my ATM card. Traveler's checks are kind of outdated, guys. Credit cards work almost everywhere. As I said, MasterCard and Visa. American Express some places. Remember, your hotels are paid for, just your, any extras you'd be paying for. And you have 6 dinners that are paid for. 2 are the Shabbat dinners. And they're at nice restaurants and lovely, lovely meals. So you're not on your own for very much. You're on your own for a bunch of lunches and a few dinners, like 4 dinners. Tips. I actually think Ezra did this a little low. So we'll talk about this in a minute. Ezra said that the tips for your tour guide is $7 to $8 per day, and your bus driver is $4. I was under the impression it was $10 per day for your, if you think your guide is good, per person, and about $5 for the driver. But anywhere in that range is fine. We do appreciate that everyone do that, and that's per person. So think about that before you go. We usually do it in cash, but we have done it in American check. Or you can do it in shekels when you're there. But sometimes it's nice to just sneak it in your bag, take it now, know what it is, and take that money and put it away.
Did you say earlier something about individual tips and then there's a group tip?
That's the group tip.
That
We'll
is the
collect
group
it.
tip. Or you collect it and
We
do
collect
together?
it, we give it as a,
Okay.
unless someone insists on taking their own envelope and giving it. We have people on trips who have thought it was the most incredible trip they've ever been on, and say, I wanna give my own tip and give a bigger tip. Fine, whatever way you wanna do it. As a matter of fact, we'll probably give everyone, you know what, we probably will give everyone an envelope, and we'll have you write something, a personal note on there. And we'll just collect the group for the, bus driver,
At the end of the
the end of the trip. Okay, that's, the way we'll probably do that.
In
Uh,
US dollars
what?
or shekels?
Either one, doesn't matter.
Like, yeah, when you said something about put it, you might wanna put away in advance, I mean, we don't have shekels here, we only have our
Oh,
American
they
dollars.
take American money.
Believe
American
me,
money is
you
love.
can
give them
Yeah.
Happy.
American
They'll
money
give
is
them
love,
$50
and American,
They'll be-
and the weirder other thing, the other thing that's so weird in Israel, not as much as it used to be, they like American checks. So if you go into a jewelry store, or you're at a fair somewhere,
You get on their mailing list.
a lot of times they'll take
Maybe
the
that's
check
it.
from you. I mean, it's very weird to me, I don't quite get that, but they, a lot of places do not mind an American check. Some places, like when we go to, the fair on Friday morning, they will not take, a credit card, some of the places. Some will, and some won't. And I'll show you some of my favorite jewelry stores there, jewelry little booths there. Great stuff, I mean,
Thank you.
professional level stuff on
Really
Friday
nice.
morning. And cheap.
Surprise.
And you get to see all the
Valentine's.
Israelis out and about, like everybody's there, that's the place to be.
So is there a second bus for all the things that we buy?
Yeah, that's the problem.
Suitcase.
I sometimes have to leave my stuff in Israel and take it the next time.
Speaking of which, I think, do we know how many suitcases people are committed?
You're supposed to take one suitcase, because that's what happens these days.
Right.
With a group of 25 to 26, we could fit on another one, so don't worry. It's nice, when we go like short places, so we're going, short time places, so we're going up to,
Far below.
Kfar Bloom, and we're going one night to Bedouin tents. Those 3 nights, you may wanna pack in your overnight bag. You may have an overnight bag, and that might be the perfect thing to do, and then don't touch your other bag, you don't need to, and it makes it easier. Especially with kids and things, you know, it might make it easier. Kfar Bloom, you'll probably get a family room, which works out really, really nice, because it's a kibbutz. And it's a little different. Now, those 2 nights are kinda homey and fun, and we're gonna do some fun
Yes.
things as a group. It's a bonding time, there's no city to go out to, it's us, and, if you're not too exhausted, we have some plans for you, but we'll see how it goes. We're also very flexible. So if someone comes up with a great idea, or someone wants to do something different,
And then the Oat Factory store is right around the corner. from
Oh,
Far
I know
Below.
where we're going.
Yeah.
Really?
it tells a funny story.
Really? And they opened it up, for Beth.
What's the-
Nobody else, they would have done this. Opened it up,
Yeah.
Shoes
Oh,
now.
yeah.
No.
great shoes.
I'm so happy. I'm so
Aw.
happy.
Well, if we get time,
We'll make
If
it.
there's
we have to try to get time. And then there's, okay, so payment, I have to tell you, you're gonna meet Ezra, and some of you have. There is not a better mensch in the whole world. This man is incredible, and you'll see it in his guiding style. It's a little low-key, but cares so much and is so smart. So he's actually changed because of our group, and just everything. He's actually extended our payment plan, if you haven't noticed. And he's made it very doable and very, very nice for everybody. And we were so lucky that US Air came through, and actually the prices, got better and better, thank God, because that was ridiculous. So those are a lot of the details. I will get you the exact dates. I will redo the dates for you of where we are when. It's gonna be a great itinerary. I don't know if you have any other questions.
I'll ask about the hotels, the big hotels, that, you know, are the nice ones, I guess, in Jerusalem and Tel Aviv. Will they have an indoor swimming pool?
You know what, we
think
haven't
you have to
stayed
look on
there.
their
We haven't
website.
stayed in the
Okay,
Dan's.
yeah, I'll
I
look
don't
at their
think they have an
website.
indoor
You
pool.
don't think so, okay.
And
And-
actually,
We
the
looked
tan
into
panorama.
it, I think it's an outdoor pool and they're closed for the season.
Yeah, so you already looked at that,
Yeah.
okay. So really, we don't anticipate any swimming other than the, what is it, the Dead Sea?
You can go to the Y.
You bring
Yeah.
You can go, no,
Yeah.
seriously, there's a Y there. There's a famous Y.
There's the, yes. I
What do you
mean,
do? You
actually,
just pay,
I think you
I
can
think
pay
you
to go
can-
and swim.
a famous Y in Jerusalem?
It's the YMCA in Jerusalem, still owned actually
Yeah.
by, I believe, the YMCA of Chicago. And
Ah.
they not only own the property that the YMCA's own, but they own this huge housing complex right behind it. It is worth an absolute fortune, where a soccer stadium had been there for many, many years. And now it's it's sort of a luxury apartment complex. But the Y is actually a very quaint 1930s style building opposite the King David Hotel. It's an easy walk from our hotel. And there is a pool there. My daughter actually joined the YMCA while she was studying in Jerusalem, so that she could swim there every day. But you can, I think, go there on an occasional basis, and it's kind of a fun place to take a swim.
And in Tel Aviv, we're right across from the water. If you really feel like taking a plunge, you can go right to the ocean.
Yeah,
Maybe
there.
not.
Right there.
And last thing, I know there's fabulous breakfast, so I think I can guess the answer to this, but is there any hot water or coffee service in the
Some
rooms?
places do and some don't.
Okay.
The rabbi, we haven't stayed at the Dan Panorama. I've stayed, that's not true. I'm a Dan member, and I stay at the Dan Panorama all the time in Haifa.
Yeah.
But in Tel Aviv and in Jerusalem, I don't. Most places do have coffee service, though.
In the
And-
room, where you
In the
make your
room.
own?
Most of them do have it in the room.
Okay.
But you
Good
can't
enough.
imagine, but you can go down the lobby and get it, and you'll have,
And they
as
start
I said,
breakfast
breakfast.
very, very early.
Fred will bring
Okay.
coffee up in the morning.
All right.
Speaking of which, by the way,
Coffee
I'll
in
just
Israel is
mention that
delicious.
the coffee in Israel is delicious, and in almost every place where you are ordering coffee, you can order essentially a cappuccino. And it's very popular to order what's called a café hafuch. Everybody, café hafuch. Café hafuch means like upside down coffee, which is basically foamed milk
Milk with
that's
a little
that's
coffee.
put into the coffee. You can get a café americano, a cappuccino. Café hafuch is a kind of an Israeli term that, and people will understand what that is. That's essentially, like I said, coffee with steamed milk in it. It's very, very good. And you can get that practically anywhere that you can get coffee. So if you want a little bit of extra foam in your life or whatever, feel free to order a café hafuch. And if you want to order it decaf, you can order it decaf everywhere. And that the word to use for that is natul. Okay, so you can order café hafuch natul. Now, I once was
Why do you have
having.
to say both things?
Well, café
I say
hafuch.
low
Café
caffeine. I say
hafuch
low caffeine.
is café hafuch is the foamed milk concoction. Natul means that the caffeine has been removed. So there was the time I went out for coffee with Glenn Levine. This was a very famous time that we went out for coffee.
2000, year 2000.
And he ordered café hafuch chatul, which means a café chatul, which means sort of like a kitten coffee. So the guy, when he took the order, it was a woman, as I recall. She said, "Oh, very interesting. Like, these Americans are kind of like it's just making fun of her or something." So café hafuch natul, not chatul. Chatul means a kitten. Natul means decaf. Café hafuch natul.
Or you can say no caffeine.
You'll get used to it.
Everyone
So-
speaks English. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the places that will be, for the most part, it's not only, you'll find, Jerusalem is very cosmopolitan, but, so therefore everyone speaks English.
In Tel Aviv.
And in Tel Aviv. In Far Bloom, you might get some kibbutzniks who, don't particularly want to speak Hebrew with, English with you, but,
They can if they want.
they can.
So are there any questions? Anything we left out?
You didn't leave anything out, but I have a question about my phone, and so maybe group think here, or whoever knows about these things might be able to answer, just like Howard could answer my question on the electric. This, I don't have an iPhone. We bought this when we went to Italy. We had it mailed to us before the trip. And so someone told me the concept is that this has a SIM card in
Probably
it
has
for
a SIM
Italy.
card you remove.
But
and then-
I don't see a place where it would have the SIM card, so can I like pass it down
You
and
might-
Under the
pass
battery.
it over?
battery.
Probably
Under
with
the
the batteries.
batteries?
So we used to have a phone like that, and we take it, and you can get, you
And
can
so
buy
I'd be
a
able to
SIM
buy a
card.
SIM card
You
for
can buy
Israel
SIM
If it
there?
has a SIM card, they can.
If
By the
it's,
way, if
if
worse-
it's
yes.
unlocked.
If
right?
worse comes to
If
worse,
worse
you
comes
have
to
to-
worse, you could buy a very, very
Yeah.
cheap Israeli phone
Oh, nice.
once you're there. But again, you may wish to do it ahead of time if you want.
And so does
but,
that mean it's
So
So I
unlocked?
always rented
I mean,
an
do I know
Israeli
if it's
phone,
unlocked
and that's
or not,
actually one of
or
my
should I
favorite things to
assume
do
it
either, because I
is?
never have any trouble that way. I rent an Israeli phone, I'll send you that also. And it comes with everything, it comes with a little pouch, and it comes
Yeah.
with, and that's also another way to go.
Yeah.
I don't know the answer to
Yeah.
that.
That would, yeah, it wouldn't.
Yeah.
But I
don't know
think
how
that
to-
if it's got a SIM card, you can change
Let's
the
make sure we're
SIM.
not on our phones all the time.
Yes, I mean, that's making a very good point. It's nice to check in with the children, with the parents, with the siblings, with the relatives, but it, you know, it does remind me, there was a time when I was traveling in Israel, and if I wanted to call home, I needed to go to the post office and reserve the use of one of the phone booths a week in advance. Okay, so it was possible, and I did it a number of times. Now, of course, you can get like total cell phone access within minutes, anywhere. But the nice thing is that, you know, you're in a different country, so try to just sort of get into the mood of being someplace else, and don't feel too tethered.
Well, I think that goes to the first one, the tourist
Yeah.
excursion.
All right, thanks.
Yeah.
I always think of that when I think
Yeah.
about that, you know, that sometimes we miss the point of the whole trip.
Yeah.
And the trip is really what we see and what we do, and not the calling home and not answering our emails and whatever. I mean, it's hard to do. I mean, it's very, very hard to do. But try to unplug a little bit for the trip. It would be my suggestion if you possibly can. We have a great group going, a very mixed group, and you'll see that that's what adds to the trip.
So
Should
one
mention
question I
too,
did have
oh, go ahead.
was regarding the youth programming, and obviously, I think there's 3 kids.
There may be 4.
Four.
And it's all boys.
Yeah, two, she has two dogs.
No, she has one.
Oh, you said
And
two.
there's another young person the same age, maybe
Daughter-in-law.
coming
Oh, daughter-in-law.
from Miami. She's another child that they're deciding if he has vacation or not, from Miami, the same age.
Oh, okay, all right.
So it's boys, which is great. I mean, it's kind of nice that it's all boys.
Right.
And we will have youth programming.
Oh.
So cannot promise you that we'll have a youth counselor the whole time, because I don't think we need that.
Mhm.
Between the cantor, the rabbi, and I, but you will have special youth programming.
Okay.
Okay, and so they will be doing some other things, but I don't think we need a full-time
Yeah, I don't think we need a
counselor, because I
full-time
don't think
person
it's the kind of
full-time.
kids that we need, because they wanna be doing stuff you're doing.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
you know, but we will have some special things that they'll be doing. And Israelis are amazing with kids, Israeli guides have a
And
way
Ezra
of,
is certainly able to handle American kids very nicely.
but I think for just the kids that we have, they're gonna wanna do, you're gonna wanna do what they're doing.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't think we need a whole lot, but we are gonna have some special things. And then the day that we go to Yad Vashem, a lot of times I take the kids with me.
Oh.
They can go with you if you prefer, because we've had some parents who prefer, and they're all around the age where they may want to or not, or else we go do something else.
My younger one probably not, but Michael, like, 12.
So-
It's very
might wanna
nice.
sit, yeah.
Right, so we do all kinds of, and we'll figure that out as we're there a little bit, because, remember, that's towards the end of the trip, we'll have a good sense of who should do what.
We go to Yad Vashem on the Friday morning, usually to the very end of our trip. And when we went last time, because they have separate guides at Yad Vashem who give the tours, we, the adult group, had an adult guide, and our regular guide, who would correspond
Oh,
to
And me.
Ezra and Beth, took care of the kids, and some pretty amazing things came out of it.
It's unbelievable.
It was really
It's
very good.
unbelievable. I will never forget, I mean,
I should mention to everybody that you're still welcome to join our Hebrew for Travelers class
Yes.
Sunday
Yes.
mornings.
It was
I'm
fun.
told that we're going to learn how to order falafel on Sunday.
It's a must.
Who's shop?
And we gave her the itinerary, so she is gonna be very, very,
Yeah,
helpful.
first
11:15.
Ben,
11:15 to
can you
12:30.
stay a few minutes to talk about our bill for our
But talk about what?
About our bill for our family?
sure,
Yeah.
sure. I'm trying to think if I left
I'll
out
get
anything.
confused.
No, you're not gonna need anything, but I'm gonna find out more about that. But no, you know what, I don't know if you know any kids have gone on birthright, But the birthright, that's like a highlight now of all the birthright trips and the camp trips, and now the adults are getting into it also. We
Why should the
visited,
kids have all the fun?
That's right.
right,
All the
we
rest of-
visited something very
Our
similar
fun.
in the south, we
Yes.
didn't stay there, and we all said, oh, this would be fun.
Well, we stopped by for lunch,
Right.
and that was great. And then I later, with Alana, stopped by on my own at that. It's very interesting.
So we are not doing the South District, there's only so much territory you can cover,
Yeah.
so, unfortunately, we're not going to the South. My son said to me today, do you guys wanna go to State Road, there's this great program, and I said, we're not going to State Road this year.
We will be doing the Dead Sea,
Yeah.
but we're not gonna go down all the way to Eilat, obviously, we're not even gonna go down to Makdash Ramon, et cetera. But we will be able to see the vast majority of settled Israel.
And if there's something in particular that you have your heart set on, or some special program, let me know, I mean, we could try, I can't make any promises at all. But if there's someone or something, you just need to let us know.
And Getty,
And Getty
and
is, we go
it's
right
in
by it.
Masada.
Right, but it doesn't usually happen.
But that's.
Yeah, that's.
It
the
doesn't
problem
usually
is
happen,
we
we
have
always
a
have
day.
great expectations about it.
Yep.
We always run out of time, because it's really a choice of Engedi or the Dead Sea.
Right.
'Cause you really,
It's
and we
across
want,
the road,
and you
but-
can't wait to get to Jerusalem at that point.
See,
You have to understand, like, there's
Yeah.
something about, we're gonna get to Jerusalem soon,
You know-
and you really get excited about that ascent to Jerusalem.
Yeah, let me just mention, any stop, which might seem, oh, we're going right by it, or it's 15 minutes, whatever, any stop's at least an hour.
Oh, yeah, you need.
So
couple hours.
the issue is always gonna be what can we give up to do that? And it might be worth it, but it might not be, so we just sometimes have to make this choice, because usually if you start falling behind, you get more and more behind by the end of the day,
Right.
so.
We have made some special trips. Last time, one of the Myers from our synagogue, their daughter was on the MUS program, one of my favorite, high school programs that there is in Israel. And so we made a little turn, and we actually went to Alexander MUS and spent a couple of great hours there.
Yeah.
And then I talked him into stopping in State Road. We weren't going to, and the guide said we wouldn't have time, and I was like, and we actually stopped. So we do, try to do as many things. We want you to see as much about who Israel is. Israel is one of the most complicated places because there are people from all over the world. And Olim, all these immigrants. And my own personal take on it is, and I'll tell you more when we're there, is that Israel's a place where everyone comes and everyone knows that it's our homeland. And it's the Jewish homeland. And I really feel as Americans and as diaspora Jews, it's as much our responsibility about the Olim or the immigrants or the or people coming in, that it shouldn't be all of poor little Israel. And so the more we know about that and really get to see and feel and understand what it's like to leave somewhere and come as an Olim and come as a new, as an immigrant, I think is really, really important. And that's what's exciting about Israel. So we start in Tel Aviv and we end in the most beautiful city in the world, Jerusalem.
It's a spiral going up. Okay,
Great.
thank you all for coming, and to be continued.